locations. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
The Lincoln Stars' next two home games are next weekend against a pair of Iowa opponents. Join us Friday, October 11th for a 7:05 p.m. matchup with the Des Moines Buccaneers, and then again the next night, Saturday, October 12th, for a 6:05 p.m. puck drop against the Waterloo Blackhawks. October is here, and we can't wait to see you at the Icebox. Get your tickets for next weekend's games and all future home games now at LincolnStars.com.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Welcome into the locker room, the most sacred of spaces in sports. Talking you through the behind-the-scenes conversations that happen behind closed doors. With former Nebraska football tight end Chancellor Brewington.
Chancellor Brewington, the 6-year senior tight end, finding his way into the end zone.
And former South Dakota State running back and Nebraska football assistant Mikey Daniel.
Hand off to Daniel inside the 2 to the 1, and he powers his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State touchdown.
This is The Locker Room, brought to you by Epp Foundation Repair. Here are your hosts, Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel.
Welcome into the locker room. I am Rico running the board for Chancellor as he will take it away from here to intro the locker room.
Yes, sir. I'm Chancellor Brewington, former Nebraska football tight end, and usually with me on Fridays is Mikey Daniels, but I think Mikey is back in South Dakota where he went to college. He went to South Dakota State where, I believe he's like top 8 or top 7 in rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. So he's back there. I'm sure he's with the fam. I hope everything is good. But you're listening to The Locker Room, and we like to provide an inside scoop obviously me being a former athlete, having that perspective, that's where it stems from. And today, Friday, so Friday, we always go through the games over the weekend. And usually today is when we give the Nebraska prediction, but there's no game today, of course, right? So I guess I'll touch on the bye week and the overall consensus of what I hope got finished up. I would say patched up this bye week for Nebraska. Number one, special teams. I think that's number one on everyone's list. Make sure you patch up special teams, whether it's just going over the fundamentals. The bye week is an awesome opportunity to attack fundamentals, attack not only the fundamentals, but things that have kind of been slipped away, right? You know, in the punt protection, just the shield, making sure the shield and Bushini and the front line are all on the same page, right? You want to patch up the field goal procedure. This the little things throughout the year that you saw, because this is a midway point. We've had 6 games already, and we're about to go play another 6 games, right? So it's the midway point. You want to patch up, you know, there was a couple kick returns that got a little out of hand. You want to patch those things up. You want to patch up, okay, what will, you know, if I was playing, you know, as a coach, you want to look at it as, okay, if I was playing Nebraska, what would I do to try to beat, what would I do that I see on film that would beat us? Like, you want to do those type of things. And I think one of the main things is special teams, particularly on that punt protection team. Got to get something figured out there. And then I think on the offensive side, you want to learn how to run the football and learn the team's identity, what the guys are comfortable with. And I was talking to Harrison last night, and he said an interesting thing, Rico. He said, at some point, you just got to pick a guy, right? Whether it's Emmett, whether it's Dante, you just got to pick someone. And you just got to say, hey, like, we're going to go with this guy. If he's hot, we're going to go with him. If he's cold, we're going to go with him. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I agree, but I understand it, because it's getting to a point where you're week 6 and you're still playing hopscotch with Emmett and Dante, then all of a sudden Ramir and like all these different things. At some point, you just got to say, okay, this is our guy. He's going to get the 20 carries, and everyone else has to fit in there.
It honestly doesn't even seem like they're doing running back by committee anymore. It's more like they're just using a running back for a certain situation and kind of feeling things out as the games go on. Like, it seems as if they have an idea of who they want to start, but even then they go away from whoever started the game so quickly that you never really get to see that person get into any type of rhythm. I mean, they still haven't had a 100-yard rusher in a single game quite yet. So you've got Emmett and Ramir catching passes out of the backfield while Emmett's also, you know, running between the tackles. You're using Ramir to run between the tackles when you have guys like Emmett and Dante. You're not utilizing Dante, to me, in the way that you should be utilizing him in where he's a bigger bodied guy, where you get him going and have him pounding against the defense, you know, play in and play out. And then the fourth quarter rolls around and they talk about wanting to run for 75 yards in the fourth quarter. If you've got a guy like him running into you every single play, you're not going to want to tackle him come the fourth quarter. And that's when he'll start breaking those longer runs, but you're not using him.
Yeah.
You're using Ramir, you're using Emmett, and then you're not even running the ball sometimes. So they've really gotten away from the 4-back, because you don't see Gabe anymore. Now it's really 3 backs, but you're not seeing Emmett probably as much as you should.
Right. And they made an adjustment. Rutgers game, they come out with Emmett to start off the drive, right? And that was probably because, you know, if you looked on Twitter, there was the free Emmett Johnson, there's the free EJs, right? Because people want to see him involved. You see him against Purdue, and he was kind of the spark plug in that second half that kind of got us going a little bit. Just he's running real hard, and then we come out against Rutgers, and it just doesn't seem like there's anything, you know, open. There doesn't seem like there's a bunch of holes, a bunch of gaps open. Like the week before. And I think overall, this offensive line, because it's midseason, you're supposed to go through your team and see what did we do good, where are our strong areas. I think one of the stronger areas that we have failed to kind of realize is this offensive line is playing really good.
Yeah.
I would say for the experience, for the injuries and all the stuff with Mazuka and, you know, all the stuff that is taking place. Guys, Henry has had to step in there. Gunnar Gatula has had to step in there. Justin Evans is getting his real second start at guard, you know, and it's interesting. But I really think you're doing this O-line a disservice by not running the football more, right? Because I would say where they're stronger at is in the run game. I wouldn't say they're stronger in the pass protection.
Those three in the middle, in terms of running the ball, your two guards and your center, I feel like that's their strength,
right?
Especially when you have Mazuka, whenever he comes back, whenever they put him back as a starter, if they ever do. Those three in the middle have really shown the ability to be road graders and to open up holes for the running backs. And that's, like you were just saying, that's something that I think they've done a really good job at, and nobody's really talking about it all that much. What everybody wants to talk about is those 3 plays in overtime against Illinois where they gave up the sacks. But if you notice, the pressure was coming on that right side at the right guard. It was like the second game where Mazuka wasn't starting. So it's kind of getting into that rhythm again with, Ben Scott and whoever the right guard was to try and get that communication. Like, you're going to get this guy if he comes late.
Yeah.
They didn't have that discussion. They didn't have that communication. And that's what kind of ran into the problems there. But they've been doing a really good job this year. And the credit goes to that offensive line and to Donovan Raiola for what he's been doing.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's, like I'm talking about, if you can run the football a little bit more, it eases up the pass pro game. Like, it just takes a little bit of pressure off. It gets the D-line guessing just a little bit more. And once you start getting some movement on the offensive line, the pass rush isn't as heavy anymore. Guys are reconsidering, when they're getting upfield, and all of a sudden, you have a tight end or somebody go and chip them, right? So you just got to keep the defense guessing, and I think this O-line is doing a good job. I think receivers I would say they've exceeded my expectations. I think Nair is a lot better than I thought. I think Banks is right on par with what I thought. Just two stud receivers.
Banks is a 6'4" chain mover.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Chain mover. He reminds me of just the way he catches the football of like Hopkins. Like, just the way he always attacks things. He doesn't let things get inside his body. I think he does a great job. And Ja'Cory Barney has been like my underdog MVP of this offense. I mean, every time we need an explosive play, when things are dry, when we can't seem to move the football, we just give him on a jet sweep, or we give him on a reverse or some type of handoff. And it's almost an explosive play every time he touches the ball.
I mean, seeing him go across the middle and take those hits for how slight he is, extremely impressive.
Extremely impressive. And that's what you want to see, because now, and it's cool because we saw that Illinois game. I believe that's the one over the middle where he got banged. You're seeing week after week. We saw UTEP, we saw little Ja'Cory, Colorado, we saw a lot, right? And then UNI saw a little bit, but we're seeing the evolving of his role, the expansion of his role in this offense. And it's not only a credit to his skill, but if you see a guy expanding over time, that means he's picking up on the playbook, especially this guy being a true freshman. And another guy I would have liked to see him a little bit more, because I think he can help this offense out, and like his explosive element is Carter Nelson.
Yes.
I thought if you're not gonna redshirt him this year, you have to have him on the field, because I feel as if the things that you do with Heinrich, you run a fade from the backfield, you do this. Carter can do all those things, and he's more explosive, right? And I would say I would like the ball in his hands just a little bit more.
He did play a little bit of, he was the do-it-all guy at Ainsworth. He played a little bit of quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can, I will stand on the table and say, I want to see Carter Nelson run a Wildcat. I want to see it. I think he should be a Wildcat guy.
Could you imagine Carter Nelson and Heinrich in the backfield together?
What?
It's a little gimmicky,
right?
But I
could make it
feel
work.
like it could work. It's not something that you do a lot, and that's another thing what you hear with Heinrich Harburg and getting him out there, and the plays that he's in, they seem to work pretty well. People want to see more of him, but if you do that more, it gets rid of the surprise, the explosive element to that, because then people are going to be expecting it. If you just sprinkle it in from time to time, people are going to look at it on film and kind of focus on it and say, okay, when this guy's in, we have to remember this. But it's one play every game. It's 2 plays every game. So you're not going to focus on that. You're focused more on, oh, well, Dylan's going to chuck it deep to a running Nair who's extremely fast. You've got Ja'Cory coming across the middle doing reverses. You've got these running backs coming out of the backfield. You've got Fedoni coming on a slant, doing things, getting open in the middle of the field. You've got Banks, who's able to just find the chains and get the first down. You're focusing on everybody else, where you forget those 1 or 2 plays of Heinrich. But if you're running it constantly, if you have an entire drive where you have Heinrich on the field, then teams are going to focus on that. And they're going to say, okay, we have to remember this part. And I understand that they're doing that regardless, but it's more focus, and you're getting rid of some of the other things that you're doing during the play, those surprise elements to catch those teams off guard.
Yeah, and it brings up a great point, because when you look at this roster, especially on offense, this depth chart, I should say, because I would say it's every Sunday and Monday, the opposing team gets a scouting report of, obviously Nebraska. And so they're going to see all these different names. They're going to see, we even talk about Jalen Lloyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of has this kind of similar role to Ja'Cory, has a little bit more expansion in the pass game. You can put him out there. I think he's Nayer's quote unquote backup. But he stretches the field, does a lot of reverse stuff, sweep stuff, things like that. But you got him, Ja'Cory. You got Banks, you got Nayer, you got Fedoni, you got Borkshire, you got Bonner. We haven't even talked about Bonner.
Yep.
You got
Nelson.
You got 3 running backs that you got to account for. You got Lindemeyer. You got the fullback. You got all these. You got all these different guys. You got to. We didn't talk about Heinrich.
Yep.
You got all these different guys you got to account for. And so now when you go through the scouting report, let's say, okay, so we got to wait. We got to watch out for Ja'Cory, Barney in motion. Okay, wait. We got to watch out for Lloyd in motion too. Okay. Banks and Nayer, we can't play single coverage. We have to have someone over top of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Fedoni, we can't just put a linebacker on him because he gonna toast them. Heinrich, okay, he's more than a quarterback. They're gonna give him inside zones. They're gonna give him this.
If he gets the ball in the backfield, he could still throw it. You got to remember that. But he could also run it.
Exactly. No, like this is, and I would say the tight end room. We haven't seen much of Borgature. We saw a couple big passes. I think it was Indiana game. Or not Indiana, Illinois, where we had Borkshire over the middle on a big third down. But other than that, we haven't seen much out of that tight end room. I would like to see more, because I know Borkshire can do more. He can execute a lot of things. He's real good pass catcher, real good run blocker. Lindemeyer's doing good jobs. I just got to shout out my tight ends. Come on now.
I'm a big fan of Borkature.
Yeah,
I really like Borkature.
He's sneaky. He's sneaky. He'll mess around and
he's not the most athletic guy in the room, but he can do everything.
Yeah,
like he's one of the better blockers at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
He can run crisp routes. He can catch the ball really well. Like I love everything that Borkature does.
Yeah, he is a special guy, and I feel as if the defensive philosophy has carried over to the offense. Meaning that when you look at this defense, you'll get like 18 to like 22 guys playing per game,
mm-hmm.
right? And all of a sudden you look at this offense, right? And they've kind of adopted that same philosophy with just throwing guys in there,
fresh bodies,
a lot of names, a lot of different play styles.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at this defense, particularly the D line in this front seven. Man, we've seen Javen Wright come back in there, Vincent Shaver, Stephon Thompson, John Bullock, Mekhi Bayer. On the D line, Prince Will at the jack position, MJ Sherman at the jack position. We've seen James Williams, Elijah Judy, Van Poppel, Tyrod Nash, Jamari Butler, Cameron Linehart. Who else? Like
Elijah Judy.
And
it's crazy because you see all these guys and they're still like we saw Van Poppel a lot in that Rutgers game, but I think they're still trying to redshirt him.
Right.
And I think he has 2 more games he can play. I don't remember if he played a game before Rutgers, but I think he has at least 2 more games he can play.
Right.
And they're still trying to redshirt him, but you saw what kind of effort and effect that he
mm-hmm.
has on that defensive line. And that's part of the reason why they want to redshirt him, because after this year, you're down Nash, you're down Ty. You'll have Van Poppel, who has the experience from playing a lot last year. You want to have him for 3 more years, potentially 3 more years.
Yeah, you for sure do. And you saw Rutgers, that big 4th down, I would say it was like 2nd down after the block punt, where we had him at like the 2-yard line. You saw Van Poppel in for the whole drive, dominating. I think it was the right guard at that particular drive. But like we see some things where not only Coach Rule says it, but I hear the guys talking about Van Poppel. I've heard coaches, Mikey Daniel, talk about like Van Poppel's a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to see, and that's what you want to create. I love Rule's philosophy, how he approached the Van Poppel situation this year, saying, do you want to play 10 to 12 snaps per game, or do you want to be Ty Robinson next year?
Yep.
So I love that approach, and that's what you want. You want guys to see the bigger picture in their mind and say, okay, that's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm working for. And not only that, but how this offensive line is moving, they're getting reps from Van Poppel.
Yep.
Right. A starting Big Ten D lineman, right? Every week. Right. So it's not like, back in the day when I was playing there where, we weren't going against the twos at practice.
Mhm.
We were just going against scout team. And there wasn't much competition.
Like they're giving you looks, but it's not the same kind of looks that you'll be facing that you're taking on a Saturday.
Yeah, they're not. The looks aren't anywhere near. Like you can have bad technique and still win the rep against the scout team back in the day. But now you're playing against the twos. The twos sometimes is Prince Will and Cameron Lenhart.
Like those guys are bona fide starters next year, and on a decent amount of Big Ten teams, they're probably playing a lot more snaps.
Yeah. No, like for real.
Yeah.
I think number 11 Lenhart, like I'm really high on him, and it's been interesting not to see his name that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of attributed to like the star-studded, and obviously the immersion of James Williams when we want to get in obvious pass situations. But I think we need to find a place for Lenhart on this defense for sure. Or, it's probably obviously too late to redshirt him, of course. But
the thing is with that is like we were spoiled last year in seeing a lot of Lenhart and a lot of Prince Will because of injuries or because of just need to play freshmen, where maybe they didn't want to play the freshmen, but they kind of had to.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, they could have redshirted last year and then been redshirt freshmen this year, getting the kind of reps maybe this year. But we were spoiled in seeing what they had to give. So now you're like, okay, I want to see more of it. But the guys in front of them also got better.
Yeah.
So, and they're in better shape and they understand the defenses more. So even though they're rotating all these guys in, you've got guys like a James Williams who has stepped up. And I just saw a statistic where out of Big Ten pass rushers with a minimum of 40 rushes, a minimum of 40 snaps, he is leading the Big Ten in pressure percentage.
Yeah, I think
he's pressuring the quarterback
like 16.
Pressuring the quarterback at 16% of the time when he's on the field.
That's nuts.
That's leading the Big Ten. The other names on there are decently high draft picks for other teams.
Right.
And this guy's a sophomore, redshirt freshman on this team who's getting in, the sack man, who's getting in on pass rush downs. And that's what you want him to do. Again, leading the Big Ten in pressure percentage. That's amazing.
It's amazing. That's what you want to see. And that's how this team is moving, because you're seeing pieces evolve, and that's what you want to see. You want to see pieces evolve. You don't want to see the same player from 1 year to the next year. You want to see some type of jump, some type of leap, and we saw that.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been awesome to see. I can't wait to get into these on this next time. I want to get into these Big Ten teams. I want to preview this Oregon-Ohio State game. I have an interesting take, Rico.
Okay.
I have an interesting take.
I saw some Oregon podcasters talking junk.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of podcasters who are talking mess. Like right now, Nebraska fans and Colorado fans might be friends,
right?
Because K-State's talking mess.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting time right now.
No, yeah, for sure. It's like almost as if I don't know what I want Ohio State to do, because I know we play them in 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks, whatever you want to call it. Because for me, Nebraska's schedule is this Rutgers game was going to go like this. We either win Rutgers. I think the win versus Rutgers means a win versus Indiana.
Okay.
And I think the L versus Rutgers
would have been an L versus Indiana.
Yeah. And so it's a whole nother conversation. We beat Rutgers. We beat Indiana. Now we go play Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Now the world's talking about it. Right, where
they're bowl eligible for the first time in 7 years.
6-1 team.
You're
really
going to Ohio
7-0.
State. Yeah, you're going to Ohio State. You're going to face the top 3 team in the nation. Like
exactly.
You've got your 5-star freshman quarterback who was committed to Ohio State at one point.
No, for real. And then I'm hoping USC beats Penn State. Okay.
Ooh, so that's a big matchup out of the Coliseum.
Exactly.
Your biggest matchups are happening away from home, which kind of sucks, but it's also good because you're getting away from everything.
Exactly. That's a great point, because imagine this. Penn State beats USC beats Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Penn State now drops, right, a little bit.
Yep.
USC goes back in the top 25, but in conference play, they will they'll drop down just one notch,
Yeah.
right? Oregon beats Ohio State. Now, Oregon is the top dog, right? And Ohio State and Penn State are both
right there.
Right there. Okay. You're with me, Rico?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm following you.
We beat Indiana next week.
Knocks them out of the undefeateds in conference.
Yep. And guess who's battling for number 2? Nebraska.
Yeah, with only one loss in conference.
And guess who we play next week? Who's going to be
who would have one loss in conference
Ohio State.
if this happens.
So we would be battling for number 2 in Big Ten.
You're crazy.
I know I'm a crazy guy, Rico, but come on. That's that.
Yeah, I want the people to think about that. I want the people to sit on that thought for a second. Think of the scenario that Chancellor just laid out, and sit on that for a second. So when we come back to the locker room, you guys can give Chancellor and me or Bach, whoever's running the board, your takes on that exact scenario where Oregon beats Ohio State, USC beats Penn State. You've got a log jam. Nebraska beats Indiana, and you've got a log jam at second place with one conference loss between a bunch of teams. So think about that, and we'll be right back to the locker room here on 93.7 The Ticket. You can call or text 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. We will be right back.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bozin. Education is a cornerstone for strong, vibrant communities. I voted for the largest investment in education in Nebraska history. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Nebraska is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and understand the valuable role of education in growing our community. This is Carolyn Bozin, and I will continue to support education in the legislature. Vote Carolyn Bozin on November 5th, paid for by Bozin for Legislature.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop!
Woohoo! Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier Kawasaki dealership. Score big on Kawasaki's most dependable side-by-side, the Mule Pro, built to take on your most demanding days. Rule the streets on an Indian motorcycle with customer cash and trade-in credits up to $2,000 during the month of October. On or off-road, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with large selection of motorcycles and side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Stop by every Saturday for their Husker tailgate with free food, drinks, and games.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
The Lincoln Stars' next 2 home games are next weekend against a pair of Iowa opponents. Join us Friday, October 11th for a 7:05 p.m. matchup with the Des Moines Buccaneers, and then again the next night, Saturday, October 12th, for a 6:05 p.m. puck drop against the Waterloo Blackhawks. October is here, and we can't wait to see you at the Icebox. Get your tickets for next weekend's games and all future home games now at LincolnStars.com.
My husband has always been the one we depend on. He's a great dad, loves the outdoors, but lately he hasn't been himself. He tried to hide it, but I can tell he's struggling with his mental health. I called the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline.
988 calls and texts are free and confidential with skilled caring support 24/7. No judgment, just help.
988 saved my husband's life.
Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Daniel. Brought to you by App Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here in the locker room on 93.7 The Ticket with Chancellor Brewington in studio. Chancellor, what do we got for this thing?
Yeah, so I want to go through. I brought up a scenario box, okay? So I brought up a hypothetical for this weekend and the weekend to come when we play Indiana, okay? So I want you to imagine this. Get your visionary board out, okay?
Okay.
I want you to put this Penn State USC game. USC wins it, okay? Now Penn State now has 1 loss in conference play, okay?
Okay.
USC now USC is really not in the picture still, right? Actually, do they have 1 loss in conference?
They lost to Michigan and Minnesota, so they got 2. Right?
Okay, never mind. So they're out the picture, okay? So then you got Oregon, Ohio State. Oregon beats Ohio State, okay? We beat Indiana next week. I believe Ohio State has a bye next week.
Yeah.
We go and play Ohio State for number 2 in the Big Ten, and everyone's eyes are on it. Everyone's eyes are on it. And we have a mass pool of Penn State rocking for number 2, Indiana still rocking for number 2, Ohio State's rocking for number 2, and Nebraska's rocking for number 2.
I'd love to be there.
And hey, wait, were you the one who said we're gonna lose
against Indiana?
Yeah.
I said at this point I might go with the what Vegas has, which is Indiana with the 3.5 point.
What is up with it? I think Harrison said the same thing. My God,
I'm telling you, my concern with that game is just if it gets, if you keep it in the 20s, if you can win 24-17 or something like that. I think that's Nebraska's path to victory. If it's 38-31, I think that that's more Indiana's favor, or 38 lower than that. I'm a little bit worried about Nebraska's offense being able to keep up with Indiana's offense in this game.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to talk about it a little bit more. I want to watch a little bit more of Indiana to have like a real opinion about them. But just looking off the stats, you're kind of like, this looks like a stat team that ain't played no one. It'll be a good test, of course, but I want to get through my picks for this week. There's a bunch of games. I mean, this Big Ten week is going to show a lot of things. This Northwestern Maryland game tonight, actually at 7 p.m. Maryland is favored. I want to see. I mean, I think this is a battle of the bad, Bach. This is the battle of the bad. I mean, you have, I don't think Northwestern is very good, and I don't think Maryland is very good. So, and then you got Saturday. You got Washington, Iowa. I got Washington. I will never, ever say I was going to win a football game. Even if they're playing Northwestern, Eastern, Southern, Louisiana State, I will not say I will win.
And that only is from your experience as a Husker, right? You didn't hate Iowa before.
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did a little bit.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
You can't tell.
I don't know. I just won't do it. Wisconsin, Rutgers. Rutgers only a 2-point favorite? I don't understand that one. I think Rutgers goes and dominates Wisconsin. beats on the little brother because the big brother beat on him last week.
Well, I think that game's especially interesting because I think we are projecting down the line again, if you go with what Nebraska's favored in their remaining home games, Wisconsin is one of those home games, and they're seen as dogs mostly on the road. The UCLA game, their other home game, that kind of lets you know where Wisconsin is, and that's the hardest part about this so far is to kind of figure out where they are. I mean, they got blown out when they went to USC or whatever it was, but they lost their starting quarterback. But then dominating Purdue last week makes you kind of look, okay, we didn't quite dominate Purdue. So if Wisconsin beats Rutgers, then you kind of think, okay, that one of our best victories so far this year might not measure up to one of the games that we're gonna have to close out on home.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it's like the Penn State USC game. Like I said, I want USC to win. I wouldn't mind Penn State being the number 2 team because I really feel like Ohio State gonna fall. And I hope I'm not wrong. I don't know why I want this so bad. I maybe because this is the Ohio State's big test this year, and I wanted Michigan to beat Ohio State this year. Because I don't know. I just feel like there's a shift that's gonna happen. Not saying Ohio State's not gonna be good coming up, but I'm biased, Buck. I want a loophole for Nebraska or a crack in the system for Nebraska to get to the top. That's what I want.
The interesting question is, do you want them to play in the Big Ten championship game? And the scenario, it's hard to tell now, but the scenario might play itself out that the loser of the Big Ten championship game might not get in the playoffs when the third or fourth place team might get in.
Oh, wow.
Because they don't lose. If they're all like 11, 12, 4, whatever it is.
Yeah. So if you're saying we have 2 10-2 teams, right? Let's say Nebraska beats Indiana, loses Ohio State, and wins out, right? And then you have Penn State. Let's go. Penn State is a 10-2 team, right? Let's say they lose to SC and whatever, but because the ranking system, they're the true number 2, and Nebraska gets punched down to 3, or it's, let's say, vice versa with Ohio State and Oregon in that number two slot. So they're 10-2. Nebraska's 10-2 as well. They go lose, be 10-3. Do they go down below Nebraska now?
Yeah, it certainly could happen that way.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
And then you have to kind of do it through your own mind, is should the team that's playing for the conference championship, should they be punished or have the potential to be punished, or should they automatically get in? And my thought would be that they probably could be punished because you're playing for an opportunity to get a first round bye. And if you don't make it, it's a thin margin, to get one of those at-large bids, and you don't make it based on you get blown out in the Big Ten championship game, then so be it. You had your chance. All you can ask for is your chance, and you had your chance to not only get in the playoffs, but a top 4 spot.
Right. No, this is going to be an interesting year. Like, this is fun. This is, you got 18 teams in the Big Ten. You don't really know going into it. You think Oregon's a good team, right? And Oregon has confirmed that it looks like they're a good team, right? They go and beat on Michigan State last week in a dominant fashion. Got a real big test. Ohio State, I mean, if I'm correct, I don't think they really have played anyone.
Not really.
So you get a test there, and we're just gonna keep seeing these tests, keep seeing who's gonna declare as the big dog. Illinois goes and plays Purdue. I mean, Purdue might be lucky to get 4 wins or 3 wins. Like, it's going to be interesting. And then you got the Minnesota UCLA. This Minnesota team now is interesting because, first of all, they go and almost beat Michigan. If they would have beat Michigan, we would have been talking about Minnesota in a completely different light. You can say it was the refs, whatever. You can say whatever, right? But they lose North Carolina. They lose Iowa, and they lose Michigan, but they go and beat SC. Sometimes it just takes that one win. I'm just saying. Sometimes it just takes that one win against a top 25 opponent like a SC team to say, hey, like, we're back. Watch them go ahead and go 3 or 4-0 and make a run at this too. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see what's going on. And then obviously in the top 25, we have a really big game with the Texas Oklahoma, and I think I believe Quinn Ewers is back.
Yeah.
So this will be good. This will be good. They get there's gonna be no chance for rust. There's gonna be no chance for a slip up because Oklahoma has a phenom freshman quarterback who does really good things. And I guess looking at the top 25 now, you got number 2 at Ohio State, you got number 3 at Oregon, and number 4 with Penn State. Out of the top 4 teams, you got 3 Big Ten teams. And going into the season, I remember Coach Rule said that, within the college football playoffs, I think he said like at least 3 or 4 teams from the Big Ten should be in there. And so you're kind of seeing, his statement become true and really manifesting in real time. Although, the 2 and 3 play each other and the 4 is going to play SC. But a lot of these things could possibly happen moving forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because just a couple weeks ago, the SEC had like 6 of the top 7 teams in the country.
Right.
And now that they've kind of gone through their, what they will say is eating each other alive or whatever, but knocking each other off, maybe now it is the Big Ten's turn, at least for now, to say, hey, we got 3 of the top 4 teams, but you're right. Now they're going to start playing each other and somebody's got to lose.
Somebody's got to lose. Somebody's got to lose. And I can't wait to see what happens this weekend. And I hope my scenario comes true, which SC beating Penn State, Oregon beating Ohio State, and in us beating Nebraska beating Indiana, and then we competing for that number 2 spot against Ohio State moving forward.
Oh man, you're speaking in my dreams there. Let's speak it into existence as well. Here on the Locker Room on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be back after this.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Brought to you by General Fire and Safety, Raisin Canes, Perch Merch, Sunbelt Rentals, Mullen Motors, Select Plumbing, and the Kindler Hotel. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds and warm temperatures with a high around 90. Tonight, cloudy skies, a low around 55. And tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies and light winds, an afternoon high around 84. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and is currently searching for journeyman plumbers to join their team. Experience is preferred, but not required for all applicants. When you join the team at Davis Plumbing, you'll receive full benefits package with paid time off. Join a small local business doing big things in Lincoln and surrounding areas. Apply today by calling 402-525-6922 or find them on social media. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hi, I'm State Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of healthcare, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th, paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
You're listening to The Locker Room with Chancellor Brewington and Mikey Danielle. Brought to you by F Foundation Repair on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Locker Room. One final segment for the week. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Chancellor, what do we got going?
Yeah, so I guess I want to talk a little bit more about this Oregon-Ohio State game because it's a big deal. It's not only a big deal, but it's going to tell a lot of what's going to happen because you have Bama lose, right? Bama loses to Vandy, and now you're kind of like, okay, does Bama have enough to get to I would say like the top, one of the top seeds in the college football playoffs, right? Is Bama going to lose again, right? Or you think about Georgia, is Georgia going to stay, have a stainless record moving forward, right? Is Oregon, going to be in there? Is, Tennessee slipped out, losing to Arkansas? Like, what's going to happen? I think a lot of it's going to declare with this Ohio State game, because, you look at Ohio State's offense, you're like, Will Howard has come in and done a good job. He started off slow. A lot of people were like, hey, I'm not sure about this. And then you get the immersion of Jeremiah Smith, the freshman wide receiver. I would say it's him and probably Ryan Williams at Alabama are probably the two, I would say, freshman phenom standouts, midway through the year. And then obviously Oklahoma's quarterback. And I would say Dylan Raiola is in there as well. He would probably be a little bit higher on people's list if it weren't for the probably the Rutgers game, of course. But this Oregon-Ohio State game, I really love the matchup. I love the hype around it because that's what you want to see. You want to see, you almost look at the Big Ten Conference now as like a success. You see like the merging of, the Pac-12 getting in there with UCLA, SC, Washington, and Oregon. Now you're kind of like, man, like it's working, right? It's working. You got Oregon in there. I would love to see Oregon get it done. I'm biased, of course, but if Ohio State gets it done, it's not, all else, it's not a end of the world for Nebraska. At the end of the day, Nebraska will go play Indiana. We're going to beat them, right? And then when we go play Ohio State, it would just be more of bragging rights if we end up, getting the miracle dub or whatever, or we end up keeping it close and holding, Ohio State under 21 points or something like that. And this defense will get the praise that it deserves because now, Ohio State is an undefeated team, right?
Do you think that it would benefit Nebraska? And you obviously want to beat everybody at their strengths or whatever. You don't want to get some, but either way, a victory over Ohio State would be huge for Nebraska. Do you think it would benefit them for Ohio State to go into a bye week with a loss and then have to face Nebraska and want to get back on the field, or with a win, sitting pretty, feeling like, okay.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. So I think,
because as we mentioned the other day, you can also just watch the second half of that, see if Ohio State gets a targeting penalty. That will affect the Nebraska game. That player would have to sit out. So
right.
This game could directly affect Ohio State and Nebraska.
Yeah, for sure. I think going into a bye week with an L is terrible, but it also makes you like tighten up some things. It makes you, reevaluate and self-evaluate just a little bit more, I would say, from my experience. But the win, it might overshadow some things if there's some loopholes. It's like the Nebraska Illinois game. We go and barely lose to Illinois. Let's say we beat Illinois. It kind of like puts a cloud over or not a cloud. It kind of puts a picture over the missed field goals, the special teams problems, the defense, whatever. And we're not talking about it as much. But because you go ahead and lose that, now everything's under a magnifying glass, and you're like, man, like this, and this is gonna have. We got to fix this. All of a sudden, people are like, want to jump ship because the whole, we get one loss, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ohio State is an established program. Not saying Nebraska isn't, but they're accustomed to winning, right? So it's not a team. Coach Rule has talked about Nebraska saying that they're learning how to win, right? They're learning how to be a championship program. Well, Ohio State has been a Big Ten championship program, has been a winning football team, right? So when you look at if Ohio State goes into the bye week with an L, it's almost like they're gonna want to be punishing Nebraska, come after that bye week, and they'll get a chance to watch an Indiana game. And I think a lot of people got to understand, like, when you get to watch games live, it just hits different. It hits different. You get to see the swing and the momentum of the game. But yeah, I really think this Ohio State game, going into it, I think with an L, I would say benefits Nebraska the most, because you just never know, never know where Ryan Day's at, never know where the program's at, right? An L, you just don't know, right? And I would like to see some cracks in the system. Especially, I want Oregon to expose Ohio State in some type of area.
Yeah. It'll be fascinating with both teams. I mean, again, we'll have to see. This is the game they've been waiting for, to see what they look like in the top of the nation. Again, I've been picking Ohio State because I still want to see Dan Lanning beat those top teams. Came up short against Washington last year. We'll see if he can do it this year.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate everyone listening today. We'll be back. Mikey Daniels back in the studio Monday.
All right, that's it for the Locker Room on the Block. Coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. At Foundation Repair, we fix basements.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.